3, 2, 1.
Welcome to another episode of the For Profit Blogging Videocast. I am Joe Saul-Sehy with our really expensive graphics from Stacking Benjamins, and here with me is the far more talented than me, Kathleen Selmans.
Hey everyone.
Welcome. Welcome back to another show.
Yeah, it's been a week.
It has. It's been a tiring week. I've had 2 funerals in 2 weeks, which is makes my weekend go fast. I'll tell you that. That's great. Yeah. All right. Let's get on to happier things and funerals, though. Last time that we talked, if you remember, what are those things they say, like in the comics at the end of our last episode?
Yeah.
Superman was. So we gave you tips to get people to open up your blog post. However, we didn't talk about once they get there what to do, because Kathleen, we don't want it to be just clickbait.
Right. I mean, you want if the whole point is to get people to read your post, then the point of the post should be to provide value.
It reminds me of that line from the movie Wall Street, the original movie Wall Street, that I really liked. And Gordon Gekko said to young Bud Fox, he said, "You had what it took to get in my office. Now do you have what it takes to stay there?" And that's the same thing. You had what it took to get a reader to click. Do you have what it takes to get them to read things over and over on your site, which is really what we all want, right? We want people to subscribe. We want them to come back. So step number 1 for that is visual. I find that a lot of brand new bloggers put dense paragraphs at the very top of their posts, and then these big old chunks. And I did it too, Kathleen. It's not just other people's problem. This was and I found out that when I take that first paragraph and I break it up to maybe even one line, lots of white space drives people down the page. And once they start flicking that mouse, now they're going to start scrolling through the article, and you can get them in deeper into the article.
Yeah, I agree with that. And speaking of visually, you want to start with a picture. You want to have as many pictures as makes sense. I think you want to have a bigger font than we've all started thinking is right. So those things combined will get people to scroll just automatically.
That's funny you say bigger font, because I am an old guy, and old guys like us talk about that all the time. I remember reading blogs when I first became a blogger and thinking, oh my God, like half the blogs out there, the font is way small. My eyes are tired at the end of the day. I won't read it if it's a tiny font. Yeah. Well,
tiny font plus giant paragraph. When you can cram 700 words in without having to scroll, then there's no way you're going to get engagement. Your bounce rate is going to be 100%.
And pictures, we've got a great place. We have a great, cool resource on the site for people to get free pictures.
Yes, we do. We'll link to that in the notes.
Awesome. We should have a clever pretty link that we have. You know what I mean?
We should. We don't, but
no,
we should.
that's a note. All right. Next is that, so when you give speeches, what you want when you give speeches is to have people like you at the top, and then lots of facts near the end of your speech. You don't need to spend a lot of time being cute, but you do need to know that people decide if they're going to like you or not very, very quickly. So you want the top of your piece to be very likable. It's the same thing, by the way, with writing. I think at the beginning of your piece, you want people to like you. You want the piece hopefully to be positive, and then toward the bottom, make it fact. But if you open it up with really dense, not just paragraph, but really dense facts, you're going to get into trouble.
I agree. And I think your blog post should have a point. I mean, maybe you don't need to tell them to sign up for your newsletter, or go sign up for a new credit card. But what you want to do is provide information and leave them with something they can do.
Something I like that's funny that I heard, and this is just, I'm just thinking out loud, is Sam from Financial Samurai. In one of the discussions I had with him, he talked about how his best blog post are when he tries to argue the opposite side of what he initially believed. So he goes through issues and thinks, What if I argue the other side? And he tries to make himself believe the other side of the story. And I think that's pretty compelling writing, because you're going to have people click on the piece. B, then you're going to be arguing the side that most people probably don't believe, if you assume that most people are like you, which makes people want to comment on the piece and they engage with the piece, right?
Right.
I think that was a pretty clever way of writing posts. I always had a hard time doing it that way.
Yeah, I'm not very good at that. I remember like in debate class in high school, they give you the opposite side of what they think your natural inclination is, and you're supposed to argue that. But it's hard for me to write, well, especially with finance stuff, because I believe so strongly in my core beliefs. I mean, I would have a really hard time like justifying taking out a $20,000 credit card line.
Right. Why that's good for your college education.
Right. Put your student loans on a credit card.
Or for your holiday shopping needs. Yeah, right. The last thing is a point that really bothers me, and that's when people spend a lot of time developing social proof at the top of their piece. You need to listen to me because of this. So-and-so likes this. This is a great thing that all these other cool people do. You want to be cool too. Keep scrolling down. I'm going to tell you again why we're cool, why you need to read this. And I keep going and going. I'm like, come on. Didn't you and I share one thing, like it was a class or something, and we're reading through it. It's like 39 pages, and I made it to like page 20 before I wrote, like, Kathleen, I'm on page 20, and the dude still has said nothing. I'm going to tell you the greatest point, but let me tell you why you need to listen to this point. See this check? Yeah, this is how much money I made doing this. And so, they made double that amount of money. But so now I'm going to tell you what I'm going to tell you. But before I do that, it's so, it feels slimy, you know?
And it's funny that you say that, because that's part of why we're here at For Profit Blogging, because the best way to make money on the internet is to teach people how to make money on the internet. And so that side lends itself to such sketchy characters.
Yeah.
And, if I have to see another blog post that shows a picture of a dude on a beach trying to justify how he was able to afford to get to Hawaii based on his PayPal earnings alone, I hate it.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw a little bit of that at Podcast Movement, even people's speeches. This is a picture of us in Cabo because we're so good. And,
location independent.
Well, yeah, and it was funny because I'm like, why are you showing me this picture? I already know you're good at this. This is why my butt's in the seat. My butt is in the seat because I know, and you're showing me, look, I'm very, very, okay, come on, let's go, give me something.
I get what you're saying, though. You want to, like, if you're telling people, like, for example, we have a post on our site about why we increase the font size of our site. And linking to someone else who's a bigger authority and then creating our opinion based on that is a great way to show that not social proof, but that maybe it's not just our idea that you should be listening to.
Yeah. Okay, next time we talk, let's talk about what to do once you have them. So now they've read the entire post. Like, why don't we talk about commenting and talk about linking? Because I think there's a way to link and a way not to link. And we'll talk about trying to get people to subscribe to whatever your thing of the moment is. How about that?
Sounds great. Talk to you guys next week.
Wow. See ya. Here comes the expensive graphic.